It's a lovely warm evening, so we're going to give the van a bit of a clean. So you can see we've got the panel off from the last video, so it's going to stay like that for a minute. And so what I'm going to do today is, this evening, is to give everything else a clean, because it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. So I'm not going to be in the habit of doing videos each time I clean the van. But you've got this horrible black stuff that's, I don't know if I'm going to get it off or not, but it's really not very good. So the idea is to basically give the top bit a clean with some sort of car bodywork shampoo stuff. And at a later date, which I'll probably add on to the end of this video, I will be giving the inside of the engine compartment a bit of a clean as well, but that, along with the bottom of the van, the wheels, under the mudguards and so on, I'll do with a pressure washer. Obviously I'm not going to use this pressure washer on the actual van itself, because I've got things like stickers on it and it's likely to damage the plastic and the fiberglass. As I found out when trying to clean patio chairs, it tends to remove the top coat of plastic, and I'm not joking, it makes an awful mess of the surface here. It's a similar sort of surface to a patio chair, it's plastic as well. And I'll clean inside there at a later time as well, because that needs all clean in there. It's got months and months of foliage underneath the window wipers. So yeah, let's go on with it. So, shampooing action. So get some shampooing action going. So this is where I fall off my ladder and drop my camera. Ideally I don't, but just give you an idea, at the top of the van, our poor Mega Breadvan's been sitting out for quite some time, and so it's got very dirty, and there's a very ingrained dirt which I've managed to get rid of, more or less. But yeah, there's a way to go yet, and of course it's all dribbling down the side, making the right mess. Well, it's not looking that much cleaner, is it? But the back braking work is actually not quite that just yet. But to the top. So I'll leave that squirt with the hose pipe. Got rid of all the bits that were stuck on there. They're just floating on the water, all the little bits that are there. And of course you get lots of foliage in your crack, so to speak. No comments about that, please. So yeah, got the sides, the back to do. Done the top of the cab, just out of focus as usual. Let's come down here without breaking my necks. And strangely, the badge is actually gone a bit yellow around the edge. Right, I apologise in advance for our noisy neighbours. So, that was a quick clean. I'll stick it up there so you can see the roof. I'm not going to climb up on the step ladder. So, I think the white bits are going to need a bit of pressure hose. Get the old Karcher out, I think. But it'll do for now. Unfortunately, the lens on this camera when you put it on video, it doesn't have a very wide angle. Oops. So there we go. It's a bit better, isn't it? So it's not too bad to clean, but on the side here, excuse neighbours again, they're very inconsiderate and they're always like this in the summer. Well, not every day, but when they have people round who park in front of our gate, like over there. There we go, very considerate of them. Then they're noisy. The rest of the time, when they don't have friends or family around, they're very quiet. So I think we can be thankful for that. Getting very British there. It's not very French at all, putting up with it. Anyway, yeah, there's 2 scratches on the side of the van. Can't really see them very well on the camera. You can see that one. I can remember the man who, well, the dealer who sold me the van was very particular about the fact he managed to get rid of the scratches, but they're still there and they pick up the muck and it's impossible to clean them. So that's why I think I'll need the pressure hose. Anyway, I think that's it for this evening. So we're the 30th of August and I just decided to get the tarpaulin off the front of the van and see if it will start. So I've not been inside the van for a little while, I suppose, apart from, well, the other day when I did the video about the doors, which you can see in the playlist, but I haven't actually started the van. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to see if we can get it started. I tried to start it about 5 minutes ago and it seemed to work. So we'll see how we go. That's actually been running for a good couple of months, probably 3 months now. My Nikon A900 hasn't got an external mic plug on it, so you know, with the engine running, I don't think you can hear me very well, but anyway, the main thing is the thing's running, and yeah, very pleased. The next thing to do, I think, is to, as I said, top up the oil, because that's a little bit low, well, the battery seems to be okay, probably needs a good charge again. I need some fuel, it's a bit low on fuel. The reader for the fuel on the dashboard, I'll just turn this round so you can see. You've seen this before in other videos, but it shows 2 bars there. When I last started the engine, it was saying it was basically empty, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. As we've got the front panel off, now we'll just have a quick look at it. I don't try using the accelerator because you can see it fell over, and the belt is naturally moving at the moment, but quite spare it there. Give it a gentle push. Anyway, I won't do any more than that. That belt needs changing. I don't want to take a risk on going too heavy-handed with it in case it snaps. So I need to order another belt. So I'll probably order a couple just to make sure I've got a spare. So yeah, the next job's going to be, as I said before, giving everything a good clean, and I'll have to start painting. So it's the morning after, and today we need to start cleaning up, which means that Mega Breadvan needs to be pressure hosed. But before that happens, we've got all of this to clear up on the driveway, because we had quite a lot of rain, but we've also had some storms during the summer while we were away, so it means that half the garden's been dumped on the driveway, and it all needs to come up, which is annoying. It's a pain. It has to be done. So that's all swept up into nice little piles, and before I scoop it all up, a nice cup of tea. I have my supply of Yorkshire tea here in France. We've got plenty of room to work. Unfortunately it's in shadow because the sun is behind our house and not shining in the right place, but it means that I can clean all around. So at the moment the most important thing is to clean all the lower panels. Well, not the panels as such, because they're plastic and don't really like using a pressure hose on plastic really, because it damages the surface. So it's basically doing the wheel arches, the front subframe, and perhaps this rear bit as well. So everything around the bottom. That's all in shadow, so we can't really see that very well. There we go. Okay, so that's the next job. So we've got everything set up, more or less. The slight problem is that the pressure washer unit seems to be leaking. So it's not ideal. In fact, I thought the leak was coming from the actual hose itself, but it's not, it's coming from the unit. Not quite sure why. There's nothing much I can do about it, apart from make sure that the electric lead is this side, going to the woodshed behind our garage, to the plug there, and there's no water going towards the electricity because the lead is here, but we've got water leaking and going down the drive, so it should be okay. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a start on go around the sides of the van, and I'll start on the front. So I think I might need to remove the soundproofing, which you can see sticking out from the front there. So that's going to be fun, but it needs cleaning as well because it's covered in mud. So it's looking like I can't remove all of the soundproofing, or I can't remove it completely. So I've got a screw here, it's at the side of the headlight in the wing, holds the top bit. Now, as I've not changed this or not moved it or anything, if you can see it very well, so I've got the tripod attached to my camera so I can put it in here. You can see there's a bolt there on the chassis, and to be honest with you, I'm not keen on bolting it, because the bolt looks like it's a little bit, now you can see it there, there's one there. I don't know if it's in focus or not, because I've got the camera inside the front wheel. So yeah, there's a bolt there, and there's another one behind the drive shaft. There we go. And I'm not really keen on unbolting them because I've no idea if it's really rusty or difficult to unbolt, but I don't see the point in taking it off completely, really. So if we look at this side, I've unbolted or unscrewed rather, the soundproofing, which is down here, a bit collapsed. Looks like I'm going to have to do a bit of a repair job on that because that's come away. But the idea is that because this bit goes in front of the radiator, so that's, let's see if it's focusing. Yeah, okay. So that's going to go in front of the radiator, and what I'm going to do is I've got some grill that I bought for the front panel, sort of grill, radiator grill type stuff, which is made out of metal and painted. So what I'll do, once I've put that back in place, I'll find a way of clipping some grill over this square. It is a square, it's just that I've squashed it, and that will protect the radiator, because at the moment we've got, if I put this back the way it was, it's going to be difficult. I'm probably be able to put it back after, but basically that's the opening in front of the radiator, and of course look at this side, the radiator is exposed through that square opening with the front wheel here, and all manner of things get shot up from the wheel into the radiator, so it's not ideal. So yeah, I'm going to put some metal grilling where this square is to try to protect the radiator at least. One good thing I can get done to improve things. The other thing I've noticed is that in taking the soundproofing away, I've got a little bit of rust here on this arm and on that corner there, which can you see it? Just about. The idea is that I mainly clean up the subframe that's visible. So all of this here that's holding the front shock absorber, which goes down onto the chassis. I'm not really keen on using the pressure hose while I've got the camera. This Nikon A900 is not waterproof at all. That's what I've read, so I don't really want to risk destroying the camera. But you can see there the wishbone's nice and clean. I'll do the other side. Just get that in there. And there you go, nice and clean. Try to clean away all the crud, and the oil and all sorts of stuff that's come from the engine compartment by car shearing or pressure hosing the ground. Unfortunately, that leaves the sides of my van very dirty, so I've given it a light clean with the hose. Crud in here, and anyway, so in fact it's been pretty good, because good not in a necessarily positive sense, because the pressure hose has exposed a few things. So for example, this side here, I knew this bar needed repainting. It's been needing to repaint it since I bought it, because it was already starting to rust. So this side isn't too bad. You've got a little bit here and about the same at the other end there. But with those being metal, obviously because they're guardrails, that's the only side impact bar I've got. So yeah, we've got these guards at the sides and at the back, and they're quite expensive to buy. I can't remember the price off the top of my head, but not something I want to buy at the minute. I think they were probably in the region of 150 to 200 euros each. So yeah, parts are always expensive on these things. So yeah, if we go down to the other side, it's even worse. That's a lot worse. All this was hidden by paint. So I don't know if that's focusing or not. I can't really tell on this screen. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much rusted at the end there. But still salvageable. If I can get my words out, salvageable. I've got all dirt all over the wheels there. I might have to give them another go. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to attack it with a wire brush and repaint it with some Hammerite black this time, because it looks a little bit classier, because the grey is a bit, I don't know, I don't like it really. I mean, I know that this is grey and that's going to soon be black. Well, that's going to be black, the front's going to be black, that's going to be black, that's sort of a mid-grey, but if I put varnish on it I think it might go a bit black, but there's still going to be grey bits. So yeah, and it's not only there at the end, it's also, you probably see better than I can see, it's also grey underneath, grey underneath, got grey on the brain, it's also rusty underneath, and it's rusty there too, and underneath. So I'm going to have fun painting that, because I imagine that the outriggers are attached, there's one attachment there, and they slide into the chassis. You got one there and you got one just in front of the door, and it's the same for all of them, they all slide into the chassis. In fact, you can see, if you look at the back here, I think it's the same on the phase 1s as, you know, as on the phase 2s, but you got the rear bumper, which also needs painting, in about the same state as the other side. If I just get in there a bit, you can see where it slides into the chassis there, you see. The other odd thing is that you've got this bar here that goes up here, and I'll get my finger in the camera, or on the camera even. Oh, we can just about see it. You see it goes up, and it's a right angle there, and it's a curve back down to the chassis. Okay, and this sort of like quarter circle holds the suspension leg, and now I can get the camera in, I can see the state of it, because you can't really see it very well. In fact, it's a bit blurred. Can I get that to focus? Well, we'll have to see how it looks when I come to do the film. So yeah, in fact, it's very strange, because when was it? In 2018, autumn 2018, I had to take this van to the local garage. That was when the engine blew, which I mentioned in the previous video. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I took it to the local garage before it ended up back at the dealership, and he said to me then that I needed to replace the rear shock absorbers, or the rear suspension, because there's only one leg. It's like one big shock absorber, a bit like on a pram, and you've got the same this side as well, you see. And they look a bit rusty to me, or at least the mounting on the chassis there looks pretty grotty, so I would think that that'll need replacing at some point. But anyway, the point I wanted to make was that we've got the chassis, the same on the other side obviously, so you've got the sort of box affair where the rear bumper without cover fits in. I'm still not going to replace that bumper even if it's damaged, because it's expensive. The rear bumper goes into that box there, and then you've got the chassis, and I don't know if we can catch it here like the other side. Yes, we can. So I can't see what I'm filming, it's inside the wheel arch, but yeah, you've got a right angle there, and you've got the semicircle thing back down to the chassis, and mounts there onto like an outrigger that holds the back wheel. Now it's very strange, because it seems more corroded this side than on the other side, and I don't understand why, unless it's been replaced on the other side. But this side, that looks corroded to me. It's not dirt, because otherwise it would have come off when I put the pressure hose around there. But yeah, if you look at all that corrosion, and we look at the quick look at the other side, if I can get around that. You see the difference in condition. This side's fairly good, if not pretty good, for a van that's sort of 9 years old. So for me, it's probably been replaced at some point. So would I need to replace this side? or would I be able to get away with painting that with something? I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, for the actual bodywork, there's nothing really serious apart from the little cracks and things I mentioned before in other videos. If we move to the engine itself is perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with it. But the chassis, we've got that bit of rust here that appears to lead down onto the part of the subframe that goes under the subaxle. So the subaxle is a little bit rusty too. I'll probably get away with painting that. So we've got most of the rust is on this corner for some reason. Because if I lift up the soundproofing on this side, there's nothing, just oil. I don't think the car should really get rid of that, so I'm going to have to give it a proper clean. But I've discovered something I shouldn't have done, and that's try to clean the soundproofing with the pressure hose, because it's, sorry, excuse me, not like that when I had dinner and the effects are being felt. So, is that going to focus? No, it's not, is it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can see that it's not pretty. Yeah, so my attempt to try to pressure hose the soundproofing, it wasn't a very good idea. So let's see if I can repair that in some way. So again, I don't want to buy new soundproofing, or rather I don't want to buy new Aixam soundproofing, because that's what this is, and it's not cheap either. The plan is to leave this to dry out. As I said before, put in the sort of, I'll move out a bit, put in the grill here that goes in front of the radiator, so stones and things don't end up hitting it, because at the moment there's nothing protecting that at all from the road. So anything shot up by this near side wheel ends up in the radiator. That's not good. So yeah, I think the idea will be to get some. I don't know much about soundproofing, to be honest, but I've seen the silver aluminium coated stuff. I haven't got a clue which to buy. So if you can contact me or leave a message on this video on the comment section to probably tell me what you think is the best soundproofing to buy, or rather not the best, the most reasonably priced, then I'll be interested to hear from you, because then I'll probably be able to stick that over the top of this soundproofing. And I'm sure there's loads of people saying no, you can't do that, but I think if I did a template of some sort, I'll be able to put that over the top. It might protect the soundproofing that's falling apart, and I think it might be better to help it stay clean. So you've got soundproofing on this side there, black soundproofing. You've got the same this side, but for some reason you've got none where the passenger footwell is. So there's nothing on there at all. Whereas on this side you've got some there. So that's very odd, because in fact this side is the noisiest side of the engine, because you've got the fan just here, and that goes clack 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 clack. And so it would be nice to get some soundproofing done on that as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go and switch the pressure hose back on so I can clean these wheels here, if I can get them on the camera. And the next thing to do will be to clean, we'll take a wander over here, clean the back of that. That's going to be fun. Probably get some washing up liquid or something on it, because it's got oil everywhere, and probably do that on the grass. So yeah, I think that's going to be another thing to do. So that's pressure hosed, but I think I'm going to have to do that by hand, because it's still got a lot of oil on there, but it's better than it was, as my daughter Emma just told me. Is it better, Emma?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's it for today. So thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to follow my adventures with Mega Breadvan, and see you in another video. Take care of yourselves. Bye.